everybody. We're on day 2 talking about taxation in chapter 6. So we just discussed how our money is taken out of our paychecks, but a lot of it is going to be why. Why is the government doing this? Is it doing it well? How do I feel about it? Do I support it? Do I want to avoid it? All that fun stuff. And then ultimately we're going to get into politically, how does that drive you and your voting? So what do taxes pay for? Well, there's 4 R's, and if you were taking the test, I make you memorize these and write them by hand. They're that important. I don't know how I'm going to assess you on this, so there's your little warning. I'm going to see how this year plays out. But the 4 R's of taxation, the first one, revenue. Revenue is cash. So this is what pays. This is the cash that is going to pay for our roads, our schools, our hospitals, all kinds of services that are provided by the government, which you researched in your project. So that, oh no, I'm going to lose my battery here. Hold on. Sorry. So that's 1. 2 is redistribution. So redistribution is kind of, I like to think of it as Robin Hood. It's taking from the rich to give to the poor. We are going to distribute or redistribute the money, and we're going to take it from one part of society and give it to another. If you ever saw like the kids movie Robin Hood, like Robin Hood and Little John running through the forest, you know that one? So he was trying to take money from the rich and he was giving it to the poor, and a lot of people see him as the hero. Well, to be honest, America's tax system is based on this heroic concept of redistributing our money. So I know there's a lot of discussion about socialism and redistribution on different levels, but this is kind of, it's already happening. Does it need to happen more or less is kind of the conversation that our country is in right now in 2020. And then we talked about this too, repricing. We increase and decrease taxes to encourage or discourage habits of spending. So we talked about cigarettes, that the government doesn't want us smoking cigarettes, don't want us drinking alcohol, don't want us drinking sugary drinks. So they're going to increase the taxes to make it cost more. So it hurts us more so that we reconsider, do we really want to buy that much of it? And then to encourage a habit, do you remember? I told you one, had to do with shopping. Right, they drop taxes in some areas to increase consumerism, to bring in jobs, to bring in commercialism, to re-bolster the community, and to really bring it out of economic depression. So we want to lift people out of poverty by encouraging behaviors. So that's like one. There's lots of things that we do. We want to keep people in the house, so we're going to stop the tax rising on elderly people. We don't want them to lose their home because they can't afford their taxes. So lots of things that the government plays with repricing. And the last one, representation. This is when people expect the government to serve their needs in return for financial support. Now, I've said no taxation without representation, and then kids write that down and memorize it, but they have no idea what that means. Who represents us? You have Congress, you have the president, you have your local officials, you have all different people representing you. We have to pay their salary. So this is where we're setting up the structure of our government and the people who are going to be employed in it. And maybe you're thinking about a job in this, and we would pay your salary, so you work for us. Representation. Okay, a quick note. You have to pay taxes on investments that are earning interest. So as you start to invest, you are going to have to pay taxes on them, mainly when you cash out. So as soon as you turn your investment into capital gain, the capital gain is going to be taxed. But there's other things that you need to watch out for. So when we retire, when we create a retirement fund, we're going to want to tax shelter it. And if you can see me right now, I usually kind of cover something with my hands. Like I'm going to protect it from taxation from the government. We don't want the government to see it to tax it. Because remember, the government loves to tax anything that they can name. So what rich people do is they spend a lot of time and a lot of money understanding how to tax shelter their money. This is why we can increase taxes on the wealthy to the nth degree, but they're going to outsmart the system. We call these loopholes and things like that because the law is very difficult to lock in and not allow for tax sheltering. So what's really unfortunate is the people who lose out as we increase this intense taxation is the people who can't afford to really understand or hire somebody who understands how to tax shelter our money. So the group that typically loses out would be the middle class. So we do want to make sure this class is actually designed to really increase awareness about tax sheltering and to help you to understand that it's going to change over the years. It's going to be on you to pay somebody or do your research and learn about tax sheltering, because what I'm teaching you right now may not be true when you graduate college and start to make money. So you need to be ready to really learn tax sheltering. It's crucial. It's critical. We're just going to go there. It's a critical thing to learn. Okay, here's your paycheck, and let me see if I can make it a little bigger with my, there we go, with my mouse. So you can see that they're all going to look a little bit different. Some of you have paychecks, and you're going to be able to see, like, just on yours, you've got some information. So this is what you can cash your check for. That's the date that it's, like, ripe and ready to be cashed out. This is your company's check number. And this is the company that wrote you the check, and that's their bank information. And then this is going to be you. But then you're going to see all the information about what you've paid this little session or over the past year. So this is really kind of fun. You get to start to learn about what you're paying, and you should look at your pay stub. It looks different in every state. But here you can see that this person has some sick days and they're still available, and they've got personal days they got paid on. You can see over here how much they paid in federal taxes, in FICA, which we're going to learn about, Medicaid, New Jersey, and then these are all different New Jersey state taxes and the total amount of taxes they paid for the year. So it's kind of interesting. And really your taxes are going to be very obvious to you. They try to make it really simple. Back here you can see it's a little bit simpler even the way that they laid it out. So I've seen it done a couple different ways, because at this point I've seen a lot of kids bringing in their paychecks and asking me questions. Remember, you're not going to pay a lot of taxes till you're making at least $6,000 or $8,000, but you are dependent on your parents. So you still have to file taxes. You need to talk to your parents about your money and how much you're making, and make sure that they see how much you're making, because sometimes you guys make more than they're expecting, and that increases their household income, and that can change their taxation. So start talking to your parents and make sure that they're on board with you working as much as you are. The IRS. So the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, this is a group of people who work for the U.S. Treasury Department. So it's a branch of the Treasury Department. And if you want to think about it, these are the police of our tax system. These are like the police officers. The police do not make the laws, and in this case, neither does the IRS. So if you look at this, Congress makes the law, the IRS enforces the law. You see how this is really, people get so mad at the IRS, and it's not their fault. They didn't make the law. They're just enforcing the law. It's kind of like getting mad at the police for, giving you a ticket for running a red light. Well, if you don't want people running that red light, well, don't get mad at the police. You got to go, who made that law? And you got to back up. So we want to just kind of make sure that we're not ignorant in where we put our frustration. If you're not happy with the tax laws, you need to get involved. You need to vote. Those are your congressmen. Those are people who are voting and making decisions for you. Those are your representatives. They're supposed to represent your opinion. Don't get mad at the IRS when they go and haul you off to jail when you don't pay your taxes. It's the Congress that you needed to really be frustrated with. And you see a lot of ignorance in these shows, these TV shows. So don't be one of them. The IRS is just like the police. Get that in your head. The IRS will make you annually send in a federal tax return. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it mandatory? Yes. The government does not have ESP. They don't know what you've purchased. They don't know what you've earned. They don't know what good spending you've had that should be tax sheltered. They don't know any of this. So if you want to click in, you're going to go to the www.irs.gov website. That is actually the legitimate website where you can print out all the forms that you would need. And if you are going to file your own taxes, that is where you go. And this is also where you might want to go to see, am I going to have to pay taxes this year? Did I make too much? If I'm a dependent on my parents, like what's going to impact me? That's your source for information, and it's real. So you can go there, and it's actually updated for 2020. So kind of exciting stuff. 1040. Now, this is what we are all going to be submitting in April to tell the government what we earned last year. So this is 2020. My 1040 is going to be what I earned from January 2019 to December 2019. I obviously can't file it in 2019 though because I wasn't done earning. So we filed the next year based on what we earned the last year. So this is April 2020 would be the 2019 earnings. Does that kind of make sense? There used to be one called the 1040 Easy, and that was back in the day. We had two different forms. We had the 1040 and the 1040 Easy, and they kind of got rid of that. They simplified it back 2 years ago with Trump, so that changed. And again, they're going to change these all the time, so you just got to be ready to roll with it. And when in doubt, what do? You pay somebody. It's not that expensive, so you can get help. You can also buy software to fill out all the questions and all that stuff, but it's going to be some version of the 1040, and you're going to have to pay it around April 15. I think we're going to stop there for today because it's getting a little boring, but hopefully it's helping you. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, and you're going to get ready to go on and do your work for the day. Thanks so much. I miss you guys. Bye.